What's up guys, this is the Honest Outlaw here, and today we're going to be doing a quick comparison video. We're going to be comparing three of the best handguns of 2017. The Glock 19 Gen 5, the M&P 2.0 Compact, and the CZ P10c. Now a little disclaimer, all of these are amazing guns and could be used for anything you could use a handgun for. What we're going to do here today is we're going to compare the features, reliability, accuracy, accessories, and much more to try to figure out which one of these guns is the best one for you, and then at the end I'll tell you which one's my favorite and why. So let's start with the CZ P10c. It is a new design coming from a company that has a great track record of making some of the best and my favorite guns. It's kind of CZ's answer to the Glock. And comparing it to the Glock, it has very similar features and very similar mode of operation. It fits into some of Glock's holsters, however, I do believe it is slightly more ergonomic, it has a slightly better grip angle for most people, and it has one of the best triggers on the market today, only falling short of maybe the PPQ and VP9. It's very shootable, accurate, and lightweight, and it's right in there with the perfect size of guns along with the Glock, M&P, PPQ, and Canik Elite. The Gen 5 Glock is very similar to the Gen 4 Glock in my opinion, but it does have a few changes. I think Glock decided to come out with the Gen 5 maybe even a little bit early to compete with guns like the P10c, 2.0 Compact, and especially the SIG 320 that just beat out the Glock in military trials. However, recently it's had its own problems. Some of the changes that the Glock Gen 5 made over the Gen 4 are going to be slightly different internals, similar to the Glock 43 in operation, a flared mag well, an A&B slide release, slightly improved trigger, barrel, and coating, and some other features that came out in earlier models like a lack of finger grooves, which is a big improvement for a lot of people, magazine well cutout, and the 2-pin system. And finally, the M&P 2.0 Compact, which kind of gave us the perfect size of gun, finally, not to mention adding some great stippling over the Gen 1, probably the best on the market today, an extra back strap, which is really nice for guys with big hands like myself, steel reinforced frame in the front, which helps a little bit with flex, I think, while shooting with weapon lights, and an improved trigger over the Gen 1 as well, along with losing the beaver tail and some other features. Now, I won't cover all the features of each of these guns because I do have a full review on each of them if you want to check them out. Also, as you see on the table here, the M&P 2.0 has been upgraded with an Apex trigger kit and Trijicon sights. The CZ P10c has been upgraded as well with an RMR, stippling, and some coating work because I'm a Hawkeye fan. But the Glock Gen 5 has yet to be upgraded. It will be in the future. As far as upgrades go, I do have a Gen 4 here to kind of compare that to with the ZEV trigger, stippling, and magwell, and some other stuff. Did shoot all of these guns while they were in their stock configurations for the review, so I have a pretty good idea of what they're like from stock since I have a little over 1,000 rounds about through each of these in their stock configuration. Let's start out with price since that's what I think most people will be concerned about, and the winner here is going to be the M&P 2.0. And the reason why that is because right now you can get it for around 440 bucks with some free ammo and 4 magazines, which I think is pretty impressive. Also, the street prices on the M&Ps have been traditionally much lower than the Glock, and the CZ P10c is coming to market right around the same time. The only reason why I put it in second place is because even though it's around the same price, about 440, 400 to somewhere around 450, the P10c is just a little bit harder to find. You may not be able to find it in your gun stores quite as easily as you could the M&P. Glock, as far as value and price, because it comes out right around $500, but it doesn't have some of the features that the other two have that we'll talk about later, and it still comes out at a little bit over $100 more than these two, and it even has these cheap plastic sights, which I can't believe they still kept, although I will be switching those out for some of the many aftermarket sights that are available. The next category I want to talk about is going to be reliability. This is usually the most important category in my videos, but in this video it's not really as important because these three guns are extremely reliable. As you look in my video of my P10c, I have somewhere between 3,000 and 4,000 rounds for this gun now, and I've had one malfunction, and I believe it was ammunition induced. So extremely reliable. Not quite the track record of the other two, but extremely reliable. The M&P, I had, I think, 2 malfunctions out of the course of me shooting, but that was definitely ammo related. As soon as I switched the ammo, I had no issues, and even when I switched the recoil spring, went back to that old ammo that caused malfunctions, also ate it with no issues at all. Since that time, I've had 1,000 rounds through this gun with no problems whatsoever. But the winner here, if I had to crown a winner, would probably just be the Glock, because the Glock overwhelmingly has a track record of being incredibly reliable. Gen 5 rather is supposed to be the most reliable Glock. I think that's a little bit of a marketing ploy, but still, if you had to pick a winner, you have to go with the long-term track record of 30 years of law enforcement and military use. It has the best track record. The M&P has the second best, and since the CZ is a new kid on the block, the third best. But again, you got to weigh that because CZ has made quality guns for a long time, and so is Smith & Wesson. Size and weights, where these guns start to separate just a little bit. The winner here is going to be the Glock again at 24 ounces. Very impressive weight, about 2 ounces lighter than each of these two here. This is like 26.5, and I think this is 26.9 or something like that. These two are basically the same, with this running about 2 ounces less. Now, the M&P 2.0 and the Glock are exactly the same size for the most part. I think the M&P 2.0 is a slightly longer barrel, whereas the CZ P10c, again, very close in size, but slightly longer grip than the other two. And as far as capacity goes, these all three have the same capacity, right around 15 rounds, except for the M&P and the Glock do it for a little bit less real estate than the P10c. It's just a little bit bigger in the grip, and the grip is the hardest part of the gun to conceal if you're going to use these for concealed carry. As far as accessories go, I would say the Glock wins again. It has some of the most accessories on the handgun market today, except for maybe the 1911. Definitely has the most accessories in the polymer frame pistol world. However, the M&P is right behind it. If you want to change out your trigger, your sights, get any holster you want, right along with the Glock. You're not going to have 40 different trigger choices like you are with the Glock, or you're not going to have 40 different mag releases, but the M&P can give you everything that your normal shooter would need, just not quite as much as the Glock would. Now, in third place is going to be the P10c. Important accessories like holsters and magazines, which I do think are accessories that everybody should get. If you have a handgun, you should have a holster. That is your safety for your handgun right there. Make sure you're up on your gun safety, and make sure you use your holster with your handgun, and you shouldn't have any problems. But holster is going to be a little bit harder to find with the P10c, even though they do fit in some Glock 19 holsters, not all of them, but some of them. Accuracy and shootability. We'll go through accuracy first. The difference between the two, as far as I consider them, is going to be accuracy is standing accuracy. How far can you shoot the gun accurately with one-shot hits every single time? Compared to shootability is how fast you can put 10 rounds on target at a determined distance, that kind of thing. So accuracy, the P10c, I believe, is the winner here. And I actually believe it's kind of by a landslide out of the box. Out of the box, the P10c by far and away has the best trigger of the three, and it has, I would say, tied for the best sights. These have really good sights. So does the M&P out of the box. I did add an RMR. That doesn't take away from the factory sights. Just an RMR adds a little bit of accuracy on top of the already amazing accuracy of the P10c. If you're looking for standing accuracy between the three of these, I don't think it's a question. I think the P10c is the best. But if you're going to do some upgrades, I would say that the M&P can come very, very close, if not as accurate, because of the Apex trigger kit. I'm not talking about putting it in a vise and bench rest shooting it. I'm talking about the accuracy you can get, and as far as that goes, it's almost always trigger manipulation and sights, probably 75 to 25. So whatever gun has the best trigger, for the most part, is usually the most accurate handgun. And in this case, stock, it's the P10c, but with an Apex trigger kit, I would say that it ties the P10c. So overall accuracy, what you can get out of it, the M&P and P10c are very close, and the Glock follows in third place with probably even though it's an upgraded trigger over the Gen 4, probably the worst stock trigger. But again, another caveat, you can also get triggers like this Zev, who won't bring it up quite towards the Apex or the CZ P10c, but will bring it very close to the point to where it may not be noticeable. Now, shootability is where I think these guns really start to pull away from each other. As far as the most shootable gun out of these three, and maybe the most shootable compact gun on the market today, I gotta go with the M&P. There's something about the M&P, maybe it's the grip angle, maybe it's this impressive texture. Texture is something a lot of people don't consider when they talk about recoil mitigation, but if you can use good form and really lock your hand down on that gun, that texture of this really aggressive texture will keep that gun in place, and you can shoot strings of fire that are incredibly fast. You can put 10 rounds out of this gun really quickly, and I think shootability is probably the most important category as far as defensive shooting besides reliability. Your ability to draw this gun, be comfortable with it, not to mention if the recoil is low and you shoot the gun well, you're going to continue to practice it and be a better marksman yourself. Whether it's the low bore axis, the fact that the ergonomics of this gun are just a little bit more molded to me personally, but this gun is extremely shootable, and it definitely my first choice as far as that goes. My second choice is going to be the P10c, another very, very shootable gun. Short reset trigger, that's important for speed shooting as well. The quicker you can reset your trigger finger, for the most part, you try to keep your finger on the trigger during reset and just bounce that guy back and forth, and that usually helps you shoot quicker. So trigger, grip, all that stuff comes together. Shootability of the P10c is also very excellent, followed by the Glock. Now again, when I say this, I'm not trying to make the Glock look bad. This is probably a 99%, probably like a 95%, and this is probably a 90%. So it's not that big of a difference in any of these categories between the three, but for me personally, the M&P can just shoot a little bit quicker and a little bit faster and a little bit more accurate in defensive shooting drills than these two can. Last category we're going to talk about is overall ergonomics. Sights, takedown, mag release, slide stop, all that good stuff. And the winner here, in my opinion, is going to be the M&P. Now that's personal preference, because ergonomics are really personal preference. The reason why I like the M&P slightly over the P10c is because of the grip angle. I just like it better because I like shooting M&Ps, and the grip on the M&P is thicker, and for guys with bigger hands, I really like that. The back straps are a little bit more ergonomic. They have the best stippling on the market today, and the trigger guard's a little bit wider for bigger hands, which I like as well. This gun is just built for me as far as ergonomics go. Another advantage it has over the P10c is the slide release works much better on the M&P, and the magazine release does as well. On the CZ P10c, I had an issue with the slide release and the magazine release out of the box that did work itself out after several thousand rounds. However, most people will not be putting several thousand rounds through their gun to make it work like it should. So as far as controls and how they function, takedown, the M&P has the best takedown of any handgun on the table. All you do is lock it back, pull this down, pull the trigger, pull the slide off, which is really easy to do in adverse conditions like a mud or a sand test, which I have a little bit of experience at this point. The M&Ps are just the easiest to take down. But I would say that the CZ P10c does come in second place as far as ergonomics go, partially because of that ambi magazine release, which a lot of guys really like. I understand my wife shoots handguns left-handed. She really likes that. All ambi controls is a big advantage for a lot of people. It may even push this gun over this gun as far as ergonomics. If you told me this gun was more ergonomic than this one, I wouldn't bat an eye. I'd just agree with you, just because you have different needs than I do for a pistol. Another thing I really like about the P10c is it comes with front slide serrations, which makes it easier to press check. I know some guys do it, some don't. I do like that, especially if I'm carrying the gun. It has an undercut, very, very comfortable under trigger guard. Definitely the most comfortable trigger guard, and you can get really high on the gun and control the gun under situations really nicely. Third place is going to be the Glock. I think everybody knows at this point, Glock's been around for a long time, and you can shoot it really well, but you do have to kind of mold your shooting style and self to the Glock. It's very blocky, it's very simplistic, it's a very point-and-shoot gun. It doesn't mean you can't shoot it well, you absolutely can, but you are going to have to get used to it a little bit, maybe so over these two. Part is the grip angle, the hump, all that good stuff, the fact that the no matter what generation they come out with, this is still very uncomfortable. A lot of people don't necessarily like the trigger guard or the accessory rail, but you can change everything that is wrong with the Glock ergonomically for you with aftermarket accessories. So definitely not a bad choice, especially if you're used to Glocks. This may even feel better to you than these two. So overall, with all those things said, which one is your favorite? Let me know in the comment section below, and I'll tell you my favorite right now. First, I gotta say that I've been carrying Glocks for a long time. They're simple point and shoot, very reliable guns. I even carry a Glock 43 on a regular basis, so the Glock is near and dear to my heart. However, it is not my favorite choice because these guns, in my opinion, have really caught up with Glock over the last few years and maybe even exceeded it in a lot of ways as far as features and accuracy goes. So in my opinion, the Glock Gen 5 is in third place. In second place, I can't even believe I'm going to say this, but it's going to be the CZ P10c. I really like CZs. I think this is a revolutionary gun on the market. I think for 80% of most people on the market today, this is probably the best gun on the table. The only problem I have with the P10c that gets it slightly edged out by the M&P 2.0 is going to be the fact that I can just shoot the M&P a little bit faster. It's got a little bit better recoil mitigation, and it's got a better grip for me. Now, like I said, it's going to come down to personal preference for a lot of you between these three, for almost everybody, because they're all great guns. But personally, I think the grip on the P10c is just a little bit small for my hands. As you can see here, I barely even, this is the biggest backstrap I have on it. You can't see the backstrap because it's molded into the grip with my stippling job. But even with the biggest backstrap, I barely have any real estate for my left hand. And I think that's the reason why I can control the M&P a little bit better. I can get more of my hands on the gun and really wrench down on it. So I think the P10c just has a little bit too small a grip for me. Other than that, it's one of the best, if not the best gun to come out on the market today, and I love it. But the M&P 2.0, because of what I said, really edges it out. I really like the grip. I really like the stippling. I'm a big fan of really aggressive texture, and out of the box, this is the most aggressive texture I've ever felt on a polymer gun. Big win there. The magazine release and everything works perfectly. Every time I want to do a mag change, I know that magazine's going to come out. The shootability of the M&P, in my opinion, is second to none, and now that the M&P comes out in the perfect size of gun, I think it's the perfect fit for me for 2017. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. You can check out my Patreon link. It's going to be in the description below. That really helps me out since YouTube ad revenue is a little bit lower than it used to be. And I have a link to a youth homeless shelter down there. Those guys could really use your support. Just click on the link and it'll bring you right to the donate page. Please help out your local homeless shelters and remember to recycle. I'll check you later.